Okay, welcome back Year 10 to our second flipped classroom video. Today we are going to be having a look at Asian influences in a globalizing world. So our focus of inquiry today is going to be how have international influences from Asia impacted popular culture in Australia. Before we go into that too much though, we're going to hit pause and have a chat about what we mean by globalization. So when we're talking about globalization, we're talking about this period after World War II where this process became really prominent in Australia and other countries all around the world. Globalization is the process of economic and cultural integration. So what we mean by that is elements of one culture become transplanted into another. And these changes are reflected in our Australian popular culture through the film, music and television that we choose to watch or that we create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to hit pause on this video, write down this definition, because when we write something down it's much easier for us to actually remember. And this definition is actually really important to frame the way that we look at our study today. So, when we look at Asian influences on popular culture today, we can see that there are influences that saturate most areas of popular culture in our society. So we have Jackie Chan in his movie where he brings martial arts to the Australian culture with his popular movies that are box office smash hits. Then we've got Pokemon Go, or Pokemon itself, which is the Japanese anime. The Japanese drawing style that became really popular in the 80s and 90s, and now it's still really popular with Pokemon Go. We've got Bollywood, so from India, so they have musical based movies that are quite popular in Australia, and we're seeing different genres, so Australian genres mixing with Bollywood movies to create this blended movie, which is really cool. And we also see in Australia Bollywood dance classes becoming quite popular as well. And of course, what would a discussion on Asian influences on Australian popular culture be without an investigation into this guy, Psy? So this song, many of you will remember, was one of the most popular songs a few years ago. Many of us learnt the dance moves, and what's really interesting about this is it's bringing K-pop, so Korean pop, to Australian mainstream. And this song itself, there's not many words of English in there. A lot of it is Korean. So this is a really interesting phenomenon that happened in Australia a few years ago. Okay, we're going to pause this. I know a lot of you would like to continue watching that, but we are going to move on. So looking at this, it's hard to imagine a time when we didn't have Asian influences all over our screens and in our music. But there was a period in Australian history where it wasn't only unheard of to see Asian influences, but it was almost unimaginable because of the historical time period and events that were happening. So we're going to have a look at one of the most influential events that took place. So this is a TV show called The Samurai, and I think to give you a better understanding of it, we're going to watch a quick clip that discusses how it impacted on Australian society.
It was brave. It was sensational. Wow, everything would change from cowboys and Indians in about 5 seconds. He was so cool and calm under fire. He was so in himself.
He was bitter. He was vengeful. He was dull.
Your people had never been.
He was humorless.
But he could try out better.
There was always a certain element of magic involved in what they were doing.
Very much saturated in the culture of the Western. And we'd never seen an Eastern.
1964 Australia, a country on the brink. In less than 19 years since the end of World War II, they built the good one. Those dark days with the Japanese at the door are now a distant memory. But this cozy world is about to change forever. 3 days after Christmas, commercial TV station Channel 9 screened the first episode of a show that would rock the country. For the kids of Australia, the TV series The Samurai became an obsession. I just sat down one night after school and thought, geez, what's this? This looks alright. This looks good.
What made you think you could escape from me?
The first time I experienced it, it was like an awakening of something.
My dog with long flowing hair. How cool is that?
Aussie kids fell into a new fantasy world.
No. I'm not Solomon. My name is Shinto. Well, Sadanobu, you covenant. You're all full. This man must die.
To the astonishment of their parents, they became Japanese. They were samurai and something called ninjas, shouting his name across the backyards of Australia.
Somebody must have thought this is slightly unusual, us showing a dubbed Japanese adventure program set, 300 to 400 years ago. But who those people were, well, I've never heard of them ever since.
Okay, we'll stop it there because we're going to investigate the samurai a bit more in class. Okay, so what was really, really cool about the samurai was it was the first time that we did see the Eastern influences. So up until then we were watching cowboy and Indian, so a lot of American influence stuff, and this was the first time that Australian audiences were really exposed to Asian influences and really accepted it. And what I really want you to think about was, why is this significant? So have a think about, this was in the 60s, and that's only 20 years after World War II. And we had the bombing attacks from submarines, and many Australians still feared Japanese invasion. But we had this divide then of the older generation of Australians who the idea of inviting Japanese culture into their homes through television was still unimaginable. But then we had younger children who accepted it and didn't see the Japanese as an enemy anymore. So it was this idea that the change in popular culture that we were seeing reflected a change in the values, attitudes and beliefs of Australians. And that's something I really want you to have a think about before we come to class next lesson. Okay, here endeth the second flipped learning video. Don't forget to check out and answer the Google form that the video is attached to. And I will see you next lesson to answer some more questions. Bye!